Aloha and welcome to a new episode of Transformational Thursdays with four awesome coaches that are always here with you and for you, aka Vikki, who is all about the three principles, then Diana, who is all about microbiome and what does it do, how does it influence you, and then Verna, who is all about creating resilience in your life. And then me, who is all about tapping into your intuition to transition from a place of fear to a place of love. And this is about us very briefly. Of course, if you would like to get in touch with us, you do have the links in the video description. Check it out below. Until then, we have an awesome question. And as always, when we do these recordings, we don't do edits. It's as raw as it gets. Like whatever you get, that's what it is. So, why do I feel so restless and anxious when I am struggling to accomplish something, anything? I love this question. I love this question a lot because I feel we all struggle with accomplishments to a certain point in our life. I feel like being restless and anxious, it's also part of the feelings that we have to deal with before we accomplish our goal. But before we move further onto that, I am curious, what is Vikki's take on it? Because that's how I would love to start this Thursday, directly in the deep sea.
Thanks, Dee. Oh, yeah. Tell me about this, this topic. As you says, that I think that it's built in our human mind, that, and it's more, how I say, it's more something what we learn and we picked up during our life experience, that when we really try to accomplish something, when we really start to think that how to do things perfectly or how to do things in order to achieve something, it has to be serious or it has to be hard. But in another way, that when we see children's, like how children start to walk or crawling, how they start to walk and how they start to talk, that they don't feel so restless. They don't looks like so anxious when they fall, when they don't tell something wrong. They just keep repeating it. Stand up, fell off. Stand up, sit down. Try something, adults laugh. Try to pronounce something, and again and again and again. And as we grow, we start to give meaning to these struggles. And I think that that's the problem, that when we are identifying ourselves with the fail thoughts, that, oh, I felt, oh, it's not turned out to be good once or twice or 3 or 10 times, so it means that I'm not good enough. So we start to struggle and start to be anxious and start to be worried that about ourselves that we are not good enough or we are not good in something. And when we try one or two things and nothing turn out, not turning out what we expect, then we think that it's not for us, or it's not or it's impossible to accomplish. But really, truly, is it impossible? Do we try every other possible options? And I always try to think in another way, that when you truly believe in something, or when we see those big thinkers or scientists or business people who was really getting so successful, what they did, they keep doing the same day by day. No, I don't say the same things, but they truly believe that what they are doing, it's good. So they keep repeating, keep going, keep talking, tweak a little, try something new, try something other things. And I think that we all fall into this trap, that we are giving up so quickly. And the anxiety for me is just the way that, because I don't know what will happen if I try this or that, and I don't want to be hurt. I don't want to look so, I don't want to look to be a failure. So I'm just anxious about what I'm thinking, what's kind of meaning I give to that possibility of failing. And more to see this, that everything what you experience as a restlessness or anxiety is just your thinking. It give it more possibility, or give the hope that, yes, if you just don't pay attention to those negative feelings or negative thoughts, what's the worst things can happen. So this is how I see, and how many times I experience the same, that I feel anxious, I just want to do things, make it hard. But when I just sit down and try to enjoy the creating process, try to see the possibility or the opportunities for myself to grow in each time, when I see these negative thoughts or negative feelings, it make it easier, and good ideas are come, and seeing everything, just every thought as a thought, and let go, and just keep doing what I believe it's good in the moment. And there is no same moments, there are no same thinking or feelings about things, and does our thinking change or feeling change. And when we think a little bit clearer, I think it's not look so impossible to accomplish anything. So hopefully it helps, and you can see your truth, and you can see your struggle in it. And I'm curious what Verna thinking about this question.
Oh, it's a good question. And as the intuitive coach says before, it's something that we all experience. For me, it's like we're trying too hard. And you touched on it, Vikki. We want to get it right, and we want to be perfect. We are perfect, but we don't realize how perfect we are. We think that we are imperfect, but we were created perfect, and everything within us is perfect. We all have uniqueness about us. And in that uniqueness, if we just take the moment to just embrace that uniqueness and just step into it without the fanfare of fuss and everything else, and just sit with it, then we can accomplish anything we put our minds to. As you were speaking and you were saying about, the scientists and everybody, they keep trying. It just brought me back to the gentleman who was, is it the airplane he was making? And he keep trying so many times, and each time we would think he failed. But there was a lesson in what was happening. Each time he tried something, it didn't work, but it gave him another idea. And think about it, had he given up before he got to the 1,000th time when he was able to make that airplane fly, he wouldn't be flying on planes right now. We probably would have, but somebody else would have developed it. But no, he kept at it. He didn't see it as a failure. He just saw it as a way of moving forward, a way of trying something new. And he touched on it. And that's the way we need to look at things. We need to see it for what it is and not try and add other things to it. I know I do that a lot. Why this? Why didn't I do it this way? Why the other? But that's not how it's meant to be. Otherwise, if it was meant to be that way, what was the lesson we were going to learn? What was the lesson we were going to learn in moving us forward? And so I believe it's a moment to take some time and sit with it for a moment and just relax. Just feel that peace, that sensation of peace. And once that peace come about and you stop fussing and fighting with what is happening, all of a sudden you're able to accomplish more than you can ever ask or think of. We touched on it briefly before we even entered this conversation, where you were trying to do your course and it wasn't coming, you just wasn't getting it. But the moment you rested and then you sat, and then all of a sudden you were able to do something in an hour. Whereas it would have taken you forever sitting there and wondering, what to do. But that perfection that we are striving for, there is no need to strive for that perfection because we are perfect. There's no need to try and fix anything. You are perfect. I think once we can wrap our heads around that, I know it's difficult. I'm perfect. What's a perfect? Yes, you are perfect. You were designed perfect. You were created perfect. There are some things that you need to do to adjust. Just making some adjustments. It's like you put that chair together. That chair look perfect, but sometimes if you sit on it, it might just go. You can't take your weight, so you have to make some adjustments. You have to tighten a screw or do something. But other than that, if we just sit in that moment and recognize at all, it may not seem to be well, but actually we just sit and we examine and we look at things. I know for me, if I just do that, that's how I'm building. You're going to build your resilience. You're going to build from the inside. You have a foundation that you're going to build on. You cannot build from a foundation that is in the sand. So you have to be on that rock. And that rock is comprised of so many different things. The way we feel, the way we think, what we put in our bodies, what we eat, what our mind. So it's a combination of things. So for me, what do I do when I feel anxious and I can't accomplish anything? Just do something else. Pick up a book, read it. Find something else to distract you from that. Oh, I'm not good enough, or I'm not worthy, or I can't accomplish anything. Oh, yeah, you can. But is that moment of your thought taking over and you not immersing in who you are, in that perfection, that perfect person that you are. So you don't need to go and find anything else. You just need to sit and relax. And then allow everything to come to you. Because we're looking for it from somewhere. We're looking for it from the outside. But actually, it's on the inside. It's actually within us. So there's no need. And once you come to the realization of that, you then realize, what's all the fuss about? What's all the fuss about? What am I fussing about? If I just sit with myself for a moment, I'm saying this to you and I'm becoming emotional. Not sure why I'm becoming emotional, but that's what it is. And just allow the emotion to flow. When you allow the emotion to flow and not try to hijack the emotion, then everything begins to happen. So now, as I talk about emotion, I'm not sure why that emotion just came up in me. So now I think this is a good moment to turn over to Deanna, who's going to tell us about the microbiome because that emotion is coming from somewhere. So, Dee, here we go.
Thank you, Verna. Well, we've already heard some really good things of Vikki and Verna, and I basically agree with what they've said. So, but there's another thing that I can add to this. And one of the things that everybody has already said so far is that these feelings of anxiousness and restlessness is very common for humans. It's just what we do. But research has also shown that because of the gut-brain axis, that there's the possibility that it could have something to do with that too. And the gut-brain axis is that bidirectional communication system that goes between the gut and the brain. And that involves all sorts of things like neural, hormonal, immunological. So there's plenty there. And what has been happening over the last couple of decades is that research has shown that things like depression, anxiety, and all that, that there's an indication that the composition and the activity of the gut microbiome can influence that. So depending on your variety, depending on how active they are, it can cause trouble with neurotransmitters and things like that, which then means that you could get more anxious and depressed and things like that. Because, you know, the gut microbes, they are involved in the production of neurotransmitters, so a serotonin and serotonin we need, because that's very important for mood regulation. And then there's inflammation. When your gut microbiome isn't good, then when inflammation happens, that contributes to things like mood disorders, including anxiety. So there's a lot there. Stress also, dysregulation can happen when your gut microbiome isn't really in the right place, but also, so your microbiome can cause the stress response, but also the stress can cause your microbiome to be less healthy. So that's a dual thing. And as always, the way to deal with that is diet. So making sure that you get probiotic foods like sauerkraut, yogurt, kefir, kimchi is a really yummy one. You can also opt for supplements, but from my experience, food is more important because you get much more variety than in probiotics. Many probiotics only have like 2-3 strains, and there's sometimes 5. But when you look at food, they have so many different strains, so that's much better. And then there's the prebiotic foods. Those are the foods that feed your microbiome. So they don't make it, but they feed it. And a couple of foods like that is bananas. Well, they're yummy. Onions, garlic, very yummy too. And there's many more. And, you know, there's plenty to be found online about that, or you can ask me. And then the reducing stress part, and there I go a bit sideways from the microbiome, because there are things like meditation and, you know, relaxation exercises, mindfulness, bit of yoga, things like that could all have a really good effect, which then also helps your microbiome again. So that's then a dual thing. So yes, we all deal with it, and yeah, it could be a variety of things. So I hope this helps. And then I give you back to Dee. so that she can share a bit more with you.
Thank you, Diana. Thank you, Verna. Thank you, Vikki. Thank you, ladies, for always being so open into sharing your perspectives. This is the reason that we have started this project, so we can share, so we can serve, so we can contribute. And this question, I find it common. And common is not something bad, unless you want to see it as bad. But there are so many, at least 3 out of 4 people are actually struggling with depression, with anxiety. Yes, it's that worrying, according to certain sources. Of course, now the reliability of these sources are credible to a certain point, to be honest, because there are always samples of people that they have used. Nonetheless, we can see an epidemic of it, and that's what actually stops us from enjoying the accomplishment. But my perspective, my approach would be a little bit different on this, because you've already heard so many beautiful ideas or ways to overcome it. But then how about we actually start thinking, why? Why am I getting anxious and overwhelmed when I want to accomplish something? Why do I feel that is a struggle? Why do I feel like creating this path for me is a struggle? Because that was your question, struggling to, yeah? So why do you feel this is a struggle? Why do you feel accomplishments are a struggle? They take that sweat out of you, mental sweat, emotional sweat, literally physical sweat eventually. Why do you feel that for you to accomplish something, you have to struggle with anxiety and overwhelm first? Because that is actually the basic questions for you to move onward with all the other advanced techniques that have been already provided by my colleagues and helped you with a better understanding of it. So I truly believe that everyone has to experience certain darkness in their life for them to learn to appreciate the beauty of light, the brilliance of it. It's always that. We always experience certain suffering, and from that point onwards, we become enlightened straight away, or we finally have a revelation. But it's because we allowed that. And it's because our microbiome tried for so long to make it known to us. It's because of all those thought forms that were in here eventually materialized in your gut. And it takes a toll on your body. It takes a toll on your mind. It takes a toll on your emotions. It's the first time I've seen Verna like this today, for example, with her emotional being. She is anyway very, very raw person. And she would always come from this place of rawness. That's how she built her resilience. But it's because of this that we get to accomplish things. It's because we experience this suffering, this darkness, this whatever it is, overwhelm, anxiety, and struggles, that once we accomplish something, we learn to appreciate it. And if you struggle with that, then how about you take it a few steps back and look at your life right now from a vantage point and see what are your accomplishments so far. And please, before you say I have none, take a moment and look properly, because you did not live up until now without having any accomplishments. That I can tell. The fact that you woke up this morning while others didn't, that as the first is an accomplishment. The fact that you do not need someone's help to go to the toilet and eat and do whatever, that is an accomplishment. The fact that you know how to read and write, that is an accomplishment. The fact that you can calm your monkey mind and meditate, that is an accomplishment. The fact that you can be present here rather than look at this video, for example, listen to us and simultaneously talk with your child, scream at the dog for doing something wrong and trying to cook something. But instead of doing all this multitasking, which I do not believe in, that's attention shifting, yeah? That's an accomplishment. The fact that as a mom, at the end of the day, you just don't break down, that's an accomplishment. It's up to you how you choose to see accomplishments as. What are accomplishments for you, really and truly? Because if your accomplishment is to make 1 million euros by tomorrow, while you are jobless and in a dire situation, and your best friend died, or I'm just putting here the worst case scenario, and you just want to do that tomorrow, although I hardly doubt that, but it's one of those very Hollywood, Bollywood scenarios that came into my mind. Do you really think that would be possible from that place? You are operating from a very low energy. Do you really believe that you can just skip through it all and accomplish that straight away? If that's your accomplishment that you want to be, do, have, journal on that. Maybe that's it for you, but honestly, I would highly recommend you to look through this video once again and even like pause it on certain moments when Vikki is giving you certain tools, when Verna is sharing with you certain things, when Diana is telling you what to look on the internet for. Bits and bobs. And when I'm asking you to journal on, well, I'm not asking you literally, I'm encouraging you to. It's entirely up to you. We are here to provide the tools. We cannot force you to implement them, and it would not even be in our power, nor would we want to. We are available for those who are ready. Remember that. This is our way of giving back.
Can I just add something?
Of course.
Sorry to interrupt, but something came up that
Sure.
that whatever you think that it's we giving information to you, but seeing it that way, that when you listening us, see how the listening awakens something inside you. What you hear from us, what we are sharing, what to do, or how to do things. What's true for you, you will see it from yourself, as Verna says, and now what Diana says, that it's come from you. You will see it for yourself. We are pointing where you find your information, where you find your way to come up with your solution. So our words are not written in stone. We all try to share our wisdom. And when you are doing the journaling or the meditation or whatever you do, be present and let's see what shows up in you. Because what you need in the moment, it will show up. What you need to see, it come to you, through you. And it can happen anytime. It can happen when you truly listen us, when you are not thinking too much about the problem, about the goals, about your existence, whatever, or what's you good at it or not. When you are truly present, you will see what you have to see.
Chef, thank you, Vikki. Verna, I think you raised your hand. I'm not sure if that's by mistake.
Yeah,
Please go.
yeah. It's just as Vikki was saying that I think people tend to think that they are not the expert. They think of other people as the experts, but actually you are an expert. Because you know why? Because you know you. You know what's happening on the inside of you. So just as Vikki was saying that, it just came up as you are the expert. So just trust your instinct. As Dee was saying, you are instinctive. Just trust that.
Thank you, ladies. Thank you for jumping in and bringing this forward. You see, again, these are beautiful moments when we just are. We are present. We are in the here and now. And that's pretty much, yes, you may see us sometimes checking like down or on the screen. It's because, once again, we are also having to make sure that everything is working accordingly, because it happened once when we forgot to put out the sound and we had to redo it. So we don't want to experience that again. But that's us being present nonetheless. That's us being here. That's us not editing. That's us being raw, fully raw. And we love that. And we would encourage you to do that. We became experts at that. What stops you?
And as you said, we are also human, so we are also in and out from this present moment, because whatever comes into our mind, it can distract us very quickly. So it's totally normal, I believe.
Absolutely.
It's totally normal. This is what makes you human. What you see, that's your reality. And whatever it's before you or where your attention goes, it's so easily to be distracted. But as you recognize that you are disrupted, you can come back again so quickly into the present moment, just to let go and focus or listen. Listen with your heart.
So true. Thank you, ladies. Well, and thank you, beautiful people. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for taking the time this Thursday morning when you're going to see this recording. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for taking the step forward to transform your life, because we do so every step of the time. Every Thursday morning, we just release another recording for a question that we answer from 4 perspectives, a question that can trigger certain insights within you. But sometimes you just do not find the right person to nourish those insights. So if you feel you resonated with one of us, if your energy aligned with one of these 4 perspectives in particular, reach out. Our links are in the episode description below. That's where you find. You'll always see each other's perspective, and under our perspective is the link that you can access to book yourself for a call in which we can actually nourish that perspective deeper, farther, more profound. So we thank you once again for being here. And if you would love to join our Facebook group, Transformational Thursday, you can certainly do that also in the description of this episode. We are looking forward to see you next Thursday so you can transform your life for the best. You got this. You are in charge. You are the expert in transformation. Love and light.